Good afternoon. Hopefully you all enjoyed your lunch. Mark Strickland here, Provost of the Seminole campus, and delighted to give a brief welcome to the campus. This is our 15th lunch, by the way, which is a testament to Jeff Kronschnabel's vision in making this reality. So shout out to you, Jeff, for this lunch. So great job. So we're obviously excited about continuing to bring you the very best leaders within our government. And we've had several distinguished leaders over the years, from international to national, state, and local level folks. But today is a little bit different, a unique twist to the luncheon, and Jeff Kronschnabel will cover that here in a moment. But before we get into introducing our students, let's go ahead and give a quick shout out to some folks that need to be recognized. First, and many of you may know or may not know, but our Associate Provost Linda Wilmer is retiring in less than 3 weeks. And I just wanted to publicly acknowledge her and say, why are you leaving? No, just let the door kick you on the way out. She's super excited, and she's been a blessing for the college for 35 years. So in addition to Linda being in the house this afternoon, we've got several other distinguished leaders. If you look around the room, we've got VPs and deans and advisory board members and business folks and faculty and support and students and staff. Essentially, this whole room is filled with individuals that are powerful contributors to what makes St. Petersburg College so successful. I would recognize each and every one of you, but you all are here together, so look around the room. You'll know who these folks are. I think Jeff Kronschnabel tells you all to hobnob and rub elbows with folks, pass business cards around, if I'm not mistaken, and get to know the individuals. We're not hard to find. Not to say that I'm one of those guys you need to be hobnobbing with, but make sure that you introduce yourself to at least one person today before you walk out of this room and make a connection. Isn't that's correct? Okay, at least one. So let's kick this off. Slight alteration of the program, and Jeff will explain as to why it's being altered. But I also want to thank Susan Demers and Jeff for obviously their contributions over the years and their dedication to our students. So let's come on up, Jeff, and get this thing started. You all know him, don't you? Jeff Kronschnabel, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for coming. For the students, the question is, government's in a constant state of what? Flux. Thank you very much. See, Dr. Cooper, they got this stuff down. We had our number one right hand is sick today. That would be Elizabeth. And so she was going to be the moderator. So since we're in a constant state of flux, we have a new moderator that we're honored to have. If you look behind you, before I introduce what we're going to do, if you look behind you at the leaders that we've had, everybody from an Olympic gold medalist to generals to colonels to governors to the Secretary of State, we discovered something recently that we thought was very, very, very valuable that we haven't tapped into, and that is that our students that have graduated are now those leaders. So this is our first alumni panel that we've assembled for our program. And what they've done in a short period of time, utilizing what we teach in our program, is nothing short of extraordinary. And I wanted you to hear it from them, because it's always better to hear from them than to hear from us. And so that's why they're here today. I'm going to have them introduce themselves when they get up here in a moment. But that's how come we change the coordination of what we normally do for our leadership luncheons. So, without further ado, if I could have our 5 panelists come up to the stage, please, and take a seat. As they're doing that, we did something else today that's different than we normally do in our program. And I'd like them to stand up and be recognized. We brought 4 individuals from Pinellas County to you at your luncheon that literally are responsible for thousands of jobs. Our job is to get you job ready and to get you employed so that you can make a difference in this community. We have a 90% job placement rate. We constantly get calls asking for students for internships and jobs. So I'm honored to have, and I'll repeat their names or say their names and have them stand when I do that. Kim Nichols from Safety Harbor, would you please stand? Jennifer Poirier from Clearwater, would you please stand? Holly Schonbear from Pinellas County. And we have one more, and she's on a different table, so let me find it. Lisa Hendrickson from Pinellas Park, would you please stand? Lisa, there she is over there. Take a look at these ladies. If I'm a student and I'm not employed, guess what I'm doing before they leave here today? So thank you, ladies, for coming. Really appreciate it. One of our guest speakers that just did a phenomenal job for us and is actually, and we're honored now to have her as an adjunct in our program, is Colonel Susan Ferrara. And yeah, so those of you that have had her, give her a round of applause, please. She was the chief of protocol for MacDill Air Force Base, and we stole her. And now we have her, and she's been, and since she's a great troop and a colonel, she was in a constant flux and offered to be our moderator. So I'm going to ask Susan to come on up here and do a great job for us. Thank you.
Well, who would ever say no to Professor K anyway? I think it's a gimme. Thank you, Jeff, for having faith and trust in me to be able to do this and to step into Elizabeth's shoes, and hopefully she'll get better real soon. I'm honored to be up here to moderate our esteemed panel. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking because you definitely don't want to hear from me. You want to hear from them. So without further ado, if we could just kind of go down the row here, and if you could just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your life prior to enrolling in our public policy administration program, you know, your family, education, life, things like that. So please, sir.
Hello, everybody. My name's Connor Donovan. I was just recently elected commissioner in Tarpon Springs. First of all, I want to thank you for stepping in this role last second. I want to thank everybody for preparing this awesome lunch for us, and I'm happy to be here. I was born and raised in Tarpon Springs, actually. I graduated from Tarpon Springs High School in 2015, and I actually went to Stetson to play college football. But football didn't last forever. I actually ended up breaking my ankle in spring football practice. So what I ended up doing was coming back here. I got my insurance license, and I started working at my family business in downtown Tarpon, Donovan Insurance Solutions. And while I was there, I was getting my AA from SPC, and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to major in. I looked at finance, but then I realized that there was math in that. So I actually had just heard about the Public Policy Administration program as somehow making a difference in your community. So that's actually what piqued my interest, and that's how I got started with it.
Hello, everyone. My name's Octavia Jernigan. I am originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan, and we moved here about 11 years ago. And I started working for Hillsborough County Clerk of the Circuit Court. I started actually, my education came from the University of Detroit Mercy, so I came as a transfer student. But when my son graduated from college, yes, I'm that old, when he graduated from college, I knew it was time for me to go back to school because my daughter was enrolled in school. So I had a friend of mine that graduated from the program, and she was telling me about the class size. The only thing I didn't like was the distance. So my goal was to be an online student. So I started as an online student in spring of 16, and I graduated from the program in December of 18.
Hello, everyone. First and foremost, if you've ever been in class with me, or if you've ever received an email from me, or ever talked with me, you probably know that I'm a long-witted individual, so I'm going to try to curb that today for you. But I'm originally born in Denver, Colorado, grew up in Dallas, Texas, and graduated from high school in Virginia Beach, Virginia. All of that to say is I was a military brat. My parents both were service-minded individuals. My dad was an officer in the Air Force. My mom was in education. And then, as of now, I'm a father of two. I've got an 8-year-old dinosaur and a 6-year-old ballerina. And they're Jeremiah and Annabelle. I love them to death. They're kind of what drives me every day. But as far as what drove me to SPC and to get involved into this program, when I was in Virginia living there, I owned a business. It was a service business. And when we got restationed down here to Florida, I decided to come back to school for business to enhance those business skills, only to come in contact with a couple individuals, Mr. Kronschnabel, and one of the other alumni who was one of the advisory board committee members for public policy. In the process of doing so, ended up going through the public policy program, and here we are today. So I currently serve as a career and academic advisor here for the college for the public policy program. For all of you students out there, if you've got questions about the program, I work in tandem with Jeff and Elizabeth, so if you've ever got questions, come and see me.
Hello, my name is Daria Johnson. I was born and raised in Russia, then lived for some time in England, and came to the United States in 2010. Started my AA program and absolutely loved St. Petersburg College, felt just like home, even I barely spoke English back then. After I graduated, I didn't know what to do, so I actually went to USF, and the experience was just not good. I didn't feel welcome. I was just one of the million people there. Sorry. For masters, it's probably different, okay? So, and then I looked for our website, SPC website, and see what college offers. And then I saw a public policy and administration program. So I applied. And then Elizabeth was calling me, emailing me, come on, when are you gonna apply? So all thanks to her, I actually started my first class, and I was terrified. But Professor K, you did everything to reassure me that it's going to be fine. So here I am right now. I graduated in 2017, spring. While I was already working for FDOT, not working, I was an intern, excuse me. And then I'm still there, and now I am, what does it say? Senior accountant. I just got promoted like a month ago. So, hello, everyone.
Hi, my name is San Haidara. I'm an international student from Mali. I was born and raised in Timbuktu, so there is a real place called Timbuktu. And I started before I came to the United States. When I graduated from high school, I studied at the University of Bamako for 2 years. Then I started a business. I started a linguistic business providing services for the U.S. government, Canadian government, and different embassies. Then all of a sudden we had a military coup, and so I lost all my contract. That's where I realized I needed to do something, where I needed to go get more education. So I reached out to friends. I said, I closed my business. I lost all the contracts. Now I want to go get an education. They said, oh, apply to St. Petersburg College and come live with us. I said, great. Then that's when I applied. And my experience with the program has been just great. I have had great professors, and I graduated in 2016, and now I'm in my final semester at USF in the Master's in Public Administration. And there too I had great professors. They are very knowledgeable in their field of studies. So I would encourage any students that would like to go to their master's degree to consider USF, because it's just a great program. Thank you.
Well, thanks, everyone, for those introductions. So I'd like to start out with the first question, and we don't have to go in order or anything, but can you describe your journey or share some of your experiences, good and bad, as you went through our public policy program? So anybody can.
That's fine.
Yeah, I'll take it. Describing my journey, really, it is kind of like with anything, it is what you make it. And the good thing about our public policy administration program is that every professor truly cares about each individual student. So my journey really in the program has really affected my journey in life. I didn't even know what a commissioner did when I enrolled in this program. And it was actually a case study, just like you guys do in your classes, and it was early on. I want to say it was the state and local class, and I did a case study for an ordinance coming up in Tarpon Springs. And so I was like, yeah, Professor K, I'll go to the meeting, I'll sit through it, I'll make sure I get that signature. And while I was there, I got kind of frustrated hearing their thoughts on it, and I sent all the commissioners an email on it, and nobody ever got back to me. And so I was so concerned, I went back to Professor K, I was like, hey, you just told me this is the function of government, is serving the people, so what's going on? And you know, he's not one to take complaining, rather action to change it. So I actually asked him, you know, I was like, I can't run for office, I don't even have a college degree, you know, I hadn't served on any of the city boards, and he said, why not? So he actually inspired me to put my hat in the ring to run for commissioner in Tarpon Springs. And I didn't have a campaign manager. I actually used Professor Jensen's class, his mass media class. I literally just copy and pasted his PowerPoint. And I used that as the blueprint for my campaign. But yeah, really, I mean, the journey is, it is what you make it. And we have professors, we're so lucky to have professors like Professor Jensen and Professor Konschnabel and so many others that truly care about each individual student. So my journey in this program has shaped my journey in life, and I'm so thankful for it.
Well, like I said, I started as an online student, so I thought my journey was just going to be behind the computer the entire time. Well, I missed the enrollment for one online class, so I had to call Professor K, and he said, you have to come to class. And I was disappointed because I did not want to come across the bridge. I live in Hillsborough County, and I know everything Tampa, but I don't know north, south, east, west, north, 100th Street. It was just all confusing to me coming across the bridge. So my first week of class, I was at the wrong campus, in the wrong classroom, wrong location, just miserable. And when I finally figured, oh, it's the Courtney Campbell Causeway, not the Howard Franklin, or it's the Howard Franklin, not the Courtney Campbell Causeway. So whatever. I didn't like it at all. But when I finally figured it out where I was supposed to be, that introduction class was the best. I mean, I've met some of the best people, and one of my greatest friends, Ken, he literally became my best friend. And when I came to class, I didn't know anybody, but when I left, I left with some of the best people that I could ever meet with and connect with, and even to this day, that I still talk to on a regular. And I think that was the most important part, was just actually connecting with individuals and seeing them not so much behind the computer, but actually seeing them face to face. And when I started the class, like my husband was diagnosed with cancer, you know, my dad had passed away, everything that went wrong in my life was, and I still have to come to class every day after work and then come home, and I literally live 45 minutes away from the campus. So it was just a nightmare, but it made it a lot easier when you saw, I thought I was gonna be the oldest one in the class, but when I saw Ken, I was like, okay, I'm not, I'm not the oldest. And so it made me feel so much better. And like Connor said, the way the staff cares is the most important part. If you never speak it, nobody will never know, and you think you're on this alone. But if you share, this is my issue, and this is what I'm going, and this is what I'm up against. There's so many people that are there. God has placed so many people in my life to help me through this journey. It's nothing that I did alone. It's the help of others that helps you get to where you want to go. So I think that it really was an obstacle. It was a learning thing. And like Connor said, it's what you take through life. The examples and the things that you learn in a classroom setting and how to work with groups is what you would take in work, or what you would just take in just your everyday life, and learning to meet people outside of my box. I was very well introverted until class.
I think this is going to be my shining moment, because I definitely think I could do it shorter than that. I would say that the journey in this program is kind of a whirlwind. First and foremost, all of you students, make sure that you're ready for note-taking. Especially in Professor K's class, get ready for some note-taking, and get that note-taking to the point where you can streamline it, okay? Because he goes quick in those classes. The next part I would say is networking. Get yourselves out there. He's going to talk about this every single time you go to class. Talk to the people that you're currently involved with in your businesses. Talk to the people that you want to get involved with in the businesses or the agencies and organizations that you want to get into. And then the other thing that I found really, really valuable to this is a lot of the jobs, a lot of the occupations, the things that I've done in my life have played a big part in my critical thinking skills, What this program is going to do is it's going to take your current critical thinking skills and it's really going to transform them into the opportunity for you to be more of a can-do, will-do, solution-minding individual. This program is all about finding out what the current status is on whatever you're going through, whatever the community is going through, and helping you figure out the solutions for those things. Because I would say that if we polled the audience to say who in here really wants to make a difference, to help the community, who in here really likes helping people, I'd imagine everybody's going to raise their hand. So this program is really going to help you as students enhance yourself, enhance those skills, and get out there and make the community better.
I can make it even shorter than that. I really felt like every professor in this program genuinely cares for my personal success. Everyone. And thank you all so much, Dr. Whiteman, Mr. Jensen. You just really, your experience in life just really inspired me, and seeing how you're trying to help every student and how much, I don't know, it was very special to me. So thank all of the people who are involved in the program. You're really changing lives.
When I first arrived here, I didn't know what to expect as a foreign student with language barriers, but the professors, first of all, I would like to thank them, for all they have done. And they do great work. They work with the students. And in a program, it's not just about you going to class to learn, but there is something that Professor K does that is even bigger. That is to send us in the community to address community issues, talk with the citizens, go to city council meetings, speak on a specific issue. So going into the program for me was a different experience. It was not just a student going to class, do homework, but a student going to actually the work field, learning, gaining experience, and talk to the citizens, what are their issues, and see how we can all come together and solve those issues. So to myself, the program has been tremendously helpful, and I believe that what I have learned in the program has helped me so much in my master's program at USF, and that will help me in helping the people of Mali when I go back. Thank you.
You know, if I could piggyback on that real quick, I get to make this a little longer. Don't think of the program while you're in it as something you're going to achieve once you graduate. You should already consider yourselves community members getting out there and serving the community. This is something you're actively doing now, and you're going to continue to build those skills and be part of the community as it is now. You know, like San was saying, you know, it's not just a matter of going to class, doing the homework, taking the tests. We actually got the opportunity to be a part of finding solutions for the community through the program. It's pretty phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, as you know, many of our students will be doing their capstone project. Some of them are already into their capstone project or about ready to jump into it. So we would like you to share with us what your capstone project was, why you selected this particular topic, kind of your journey through your capstone program, and then share with us too, share with the students the results of it. Who wants to go first? Sure. Okay, Connor, back to you. Okay, we'll keep the order.
Okay.
Love it.
Yeah, at first, like many of you, I saw the capstone. I said, okay, so how can I take the easy way out of this? I was like, okay, I'm running a campaign right now. How about how can you run for local office? And Professor K put the brakes on it. He said, well, why don't you do something that's actually going to help your campaign? Why don't you pick an issue in Tarpon Springs that may be coming up for a vote, that you can take a stand on and meet people with. And so I did. So I chose the Anclote River maintenance dredging. And it doesn't sound like the flashiest thing, but I truly enjoyed it. I got to meet a lot of different people, and I truly don't believe I would have won my campaign if I hadn't chose that capstone subject, because that opened me up to meeting with different environmental groups, different fishing guides and fishing captains, everybody along the sponge docks, different Marine Commerce Committee people. So in terms of your capstone, choose something that interests you. And if you can't really figure anything out, talk to Professor K, talk to a professor. They have plenty of ideas. And And also try to do something that may involve your work, whether it's a feasibility study or a procedure manual, anything like that to familiarize yourself, because what ended up happening was I did my capstone on the anclote dredging expecting it to end around November, because of course around election time all the politicians put their name on it, they wanted it to happen, it was great, and then sure enough a couple months ago the money fell through. So this is still an ongoing issue now that I'm on the commission, but I know it like the back of my hand because it was my capstone project.
My capstone project was in relation to my job. Currently, I am the manager of I run the call center for Hillsborough County Clerk's Office. And I chose how to improve the quality of every call. Everybody hates to call a government agency. It's our fault for everything. And when they get to us, sometimes it just depends on the clerk and the beat down they may take from the customer, because it's their fault, they receive the traffic citation. It's their fault the child support is not paid. And so a lot of times it's harder for the clerk to react on, what next steps to take and still remain professional. So I wanted to improve that with our team. And so it was easy. The capstone wasn't as hard as I made it out to be, because like Connor said, it was something that I cared about. It was something that I wanted to improve upon. And so it was such a neat project because it allowed me to see my job totally different and where I wanted to go. Because I thought, I work for the county, I don't want to go anywhere else, I'm satisfied. But it made me realize I want to go further, I want to do more. And that project, we had to interview to become a certified public manager, to take the course. And when I did my interview before our senior management, I took my book out and I said, this is my capstone project, and they implemented my project to the call center. It was everything that I had that they asked for, it was just, okay, it's already completed. And it just made me feel like, all right, Professor K, you know some things. And it made me, and our deputy chief director, he was so impressed. He told the group, he said, I did not help her with that. And because of that, it's like maybe 100 of us applied for that. It had 25 seats available, and I was one of the 25, but the capstone just came together. And if I knew it was going to come together so easy, I wouldn't have waited till fall to do it. I would have just tackled it in the summer, because the information was just at my fingertips, and it just came so easy of the steps that I need to take. So when you choose a capstone, choose something that you care about. It won't seem as cumbersome. It won't seem as difficult, because the information that you're putting in there it's basically, if your job already has the blueprint for it, you're just throwing in your own thoughts and ideas, and then you're presenting it as your own. So it's a really good program.
I would second that. It's definitely going to be something that is part of your life already. To give you a little bit of background on my capstone, I mentioned that my mom was a lifelong educator, so she currently serves as an administrator of Pinellas County Schools. And a few years ago, she was chatting with me, and every year they do an annual Educational Media Awards competition for Pinellas County Schools K through 12. And, I had mentioned she was having trouble finding a venue to do their awards ceremony. I said, hey, SBC loves having Pinellas County Schools on campus all the time. Why don't we see if we can get you on campus? And we did that. And through the process of doing that, we found that there was an opportunity to see if we could reach a bigger network and group of students through the program, because they had seen prior to that year that the number of students participating in the program was dropping. And being a son of an educator my whole life, always growing up, elementary, middle school, being in the classroom with her, seeing what it's like to be an educator, in all the different businesses that I had ever done, people would always say, I was ever in a training scenario or whatever, they said, you're really, really good at teaching. So it wasn't until I came back to school here that I realized that education is really where my heart's at. And so with this project, I said, I want to take this on. I want to see what we can do about making this Emma program better. So in the process, we created what we call Bridge to Media. That entailed taking Pinellas County School students in the high school level, and employing a couple of our SPC students who are graduating from our digital media program. and sending them into the high school to mentor them and spreading the word and giving those teachers that are in the high schools more support, because at the bottom line, the reason the participation was falling was because there just wasn't enough resources, there wasn't enough support. So we wanted to implement something that was going to really revamp the program. And we're in our third year coming up. We got it fully funded through grant funding. I mean, it was a really phenomenal program. But one of the things that I really like to share is that this year, the mentors got an opportunity to go into one of the high schools where they didn't have a digital media program at all and completely help the faculty there build the entire program with these two mentors. They were outstanding. And it wasn't even something we asked to do. They actually volunteered for it. And so they now have a full studio in this high school, and they have a program in place now. So we're happy to say that we're going to be coming up in our third year. And it even might be to the point where Pinellas County Schools is actually willing to take on the full funding for it, and the grant funding might be discontinued. So it was really phenomenal. It was something that kind of piggybacked on my desire to go into the public policy program, specifically with the intent of going into higher education administration as a profession for myself. And we got to marry that higher education pursuit with how we are already partnering with the local school system and make it better. So.
So my capstone project started as a disaster. I did not know what to do. I decided that I'm going to fix homeless issue in the United States. And Professor K said, okay, no, go back and think of something else. And it was not until 2 weeks into Capstone, and I remember you said that nobody's coming back from that. I was terrified. I decided to do a project for Department of Transportation. At that point, I was an intern there for their, they just had not really great social media presence. And I thought, well, when I started to intern there, I realized that I have no idea what Department of Transportation does. It's just no idea. And also people have no idea, because I would see just people from the street coming in and thinking that that was some sort of office, like for driver license, something. They're like, where am I? And like, no, this is different structure, got different organization. And so I thought, well, maybe I can do that. So I completed my capstone, was great success, but I haven't actually implemented anything yet until we just had a new secretary for Department of Transportation, and his kind of vision is going towards public perception of DOT. So I'm hoping maybe something great can come out of my capstone eventually.
My capstone project, growing up in Timbuktu or Mali, a lot of kids are not able to attend school because of poverty at home. So I designed this program to provide 3 meals a day for elementary school children in Timbuktu, hopefully in Mali, which would provide breakfast, lunch, and a take-home meal to those that cannot afford to have a meal at home. So the project, when I was working on it, I reached out to people in Mali, interview people here, try to understand what are the importance of having breakfast before going to school, because those are things that not all children do benefit from or get before their classes. So because I was very interested in it, I know people friends of mine that were not able to attend school because of poverty in their homes. So I was very into it. I wanted to bring something into my community that would encourage school attendance, school participation, and improve their performance. So I worked on it, I designed it. The community really liked the idea, but we haven't yet put it into a process to get funds to implement it. But it's a project I have worked on, and Professor K was very helpful when we worked on it, and I hope when I go back to Mali to present it to international organizations as well as the Malian government to see what we can do. So thank you.
Well, thank you for sharing your capstone projects. It sounds like from each of them that there's going to be a legacy left beyond when you first implement it, and hopefully in Department of Transportation and in Mali. Absolutely. So the final question we'd like you all to share or answer for us before we open it to our audience for questions for the students is, what advice do you have for our current students of the Public Policy Administration program? What can you offer as they continue on in their journeys or as they start coming to the end of their journeys? So if you could share that with us. And like I said, I'm sure there'll be more questions on that as well, but we'll open it up there. Connor?
Yeah, I already touched on how the program is a lot of what you make of it. So moving on from that really is just don't get discouraged. I know sometimes it can seem really slow process going to school, whether you're taking, one class or 5 classes, it can seem slow. And then sometimes, if you think, oh, well, I want to work for a nonprofit or a local government or even higher than that, it's too big for me or it's too small or it's too far. And really, you got to have thick skin. I mean, you are going to meet with people that are going to flat out tell you that you cannot do something. And I don't want to sound too cliche, but you really can. And sometimes it takes you asking, why not? Or Professor K asking you that. Really, I mean, don't let anybody tell you that you cannot do something, in particular, anything that helps your community. Because if you feel passionate about something, whether it's just starting a citizen committee or even just an informal committee and meeting on it and going and speaking at public meetings, you really can influence your community, even if there's just one of you on something. So don't get discouraged. Put your head down and work towards something, and it'll all work out.
You're never too old. I had to keep telling myself that. Almost 50, and I had to keep saying to myself, I'm never too old. No matter what happens or what takes place or what comes in life, I can do it. I can still do it. I still got it. I still have the desire for it. And like just Connor was saying, you connect with the right people. You meet the right people. You just never know who you're sitting next to in class. I'm just so amazed at how, when he told me what he was going to do. And I did not know what happened until I seen his picture. And I was like, it looks so presidential. Everybody else's picture is so plain. And I had to Google him. And I said, he won. And so and he sat behind me in class. So you just never know who you're around, who you're influencing, and what people you have the ability to influence, and what marks and differences that you may make in the class. And one thing Professor Jensen said to us in class, I may not know you by name, but I know you by face. Oh, that's the person that sat right here. And then it just the different things in life. Like, I have a 3-day emergency kit in my house, and it's not even hurricane season yet. So it's just different things that you want to prepare for. And every piece, no matter how difficult it may seem or how young somebody may seem. I had people in my class that was my son. I kept calling Ian my son. You say, I can learn from him too, and he can learn from me too. And so you're never too old to do it. You're never too old to stop. As long as God gives you the breath, just keep going. Life is about many challenges, and it's ups and downs, and it's things that are going to happen and things that are out of our control. But when you surround yourself with people that mean you well, and some that don't, because those that don't will make you stronger. It prepares you for whatever may come. So this was an amazing experience. I did not want to be here today. I didn't want to be sitting up here, but Professor K made me do it. But
And now you're sitting next to a commissioner.
I know, I got it. But it's an amazing experience. And the ride is the greatest thing, because I literally took 6 classes. I was like, I got to get done. But you have to stop and take a breath and say, I need to enjoy where I'm at and appreciate where I'm going and slow down and just enjoy the ride. It's a great ride to be on, and you connect with some of the greatest people. You will never forget these people, the impact that they have on your life and what they share and what they have to offer. It's just an amazing experience. And when I tell you the class size, after that first class, I always became an on-campus student. Other than the small 8-week classes that we had to take online, I said, I got to come across the bridge. And it was worth it, because the work you do in class is way less than the work you do online. I mean, it is. It really is. And the connections you make with people are amazing. It's something you will never forget. You would never forget. So that's my piece.
We've all talked about it. You know, we made great connections. We made lots of relationships, built lots of relationships. I personally believe that life is about relationship. You know, that's what we're built for as people. All that to say, I think that here at SPC, we have a phenomenal network of resources and people who have built relationships to help all of you as students through this process. Go take advantage of your academic advisor. Go take advantage of your career services team. Take advantage of the relationships and the resources that your faculty have built so that they can help you through this process. Professor K, Dean Demers, all of the faculty that you're going to come in contact with this, take advantage of them. Because they're going to help you figure out what that right fit is long term. You may not know what agency or department or part of public service you're going to end up in just yet, but at the beginning stages of it, they're going to help you see those flags, those positive flags, those indicators in your lives that are going to help you drive you towards that decision, that long-term career decision, and that peace inside that you get whenever you know what, I finally found it. They're going to help you find that, so take advantage of it. Network. Get your name out there. Talk to the commissioners. Go to the public meetings, and really take advantage of all of the advice that Professor K is offering, because he's going to help you realize that when you hear it in class, when you hear him say, it's not about what you got in here, it's about what you got in here. He's going to help you take what you have in here and utilize what's driving it from here and propel you forward, because you're all going to become really strong community service people. The one thing that one of the students shared with me, actually in one of my final semesters here, I ended up getting the worst senioritis I think I've ever. High school is nowhere near compared to this, so I was having a hard time going to class. But she said something to me, and it really stuck, and it helped me. You know, if you ever get to that point where you're like, man, I'm really struggling to just keep pushing through this class, she would say, I can do anything for 24 hours. I can do anything for 1 week, and I can do anything for 16 weeks. You got to tell yourself that I am successful right now in this moment, and it will come to fruition. You will progress through your program, you will succeed, and you are going to impact the community.
I would say listen to your professors. These classes do prepare you for real life situations. They really do. I use probably 90% that I've learned from this program at my job. So that's one thing. Another one is you are interviewing every single day. You never know who you're going to meet. So just pay attention how you behave, how you conduct yourself. That's really important. And treat people well. People notice that. They will not necessarily remember your name, but they will remember how you made them feel. So.
If you would like to continue furthering your education, it would be very important that you take advantage of these classes here, because everything they would teach you is a continuous process that you would be learning from your master's degree. For example, Dr. Weidman's research methods. In my master's degree, we had the same book, it's the same kind of material. And if I hadn't paid attention or if I hadn't studied in that class, I would have more struggle. But if you pay attention, what I learned in this program, it's almost a continuous of what I studied in my master's program. So my advice is, if you would like, you have a great faculty here, Professor Johnson, Dr. Weidman, Professor K, and they are very knowledgeable, have the resources. So if you would want to continue your education to a master's level, I think paying attention to your class and studying would be very helpful. And if you want to study, they are here. They are very willing to help you.
Well, thank you all so much for sharing your comments. Now I'd like to turn it over to Professor K, who's out in the audience, and we're going to open it up to our audience for questions. So please.
Let me have a show of hands. Somebody wants to open this up. It always takes one. Okay, thanks, Ian. Coming at you. You're a trooper, buddy. Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you all for coming out here today and all of our great community members who came out here today. I've really met a great group of people in this room, all the students, very diverse intellectually with their backgrounds, and you all know that, of course. My topic I wanted to ask you on was spoiling a contact when you're trying to enter into a career, an internship, something like that, spoiling a contact. And a quick short story, I went to a ICMA regional conference, met a great contact, said, he's a local city official around here, and he said, we have tons of internships opening. Gave him his card, gave him my card, and he said, yeah, tell everybody to apply. And so the following week came, and I've sent an email a day almost, very professional, and I've called the office 2 or 3 times now, and I'm wondering when I'm going to spoil this contact for myself and for others in the program who I wouldn't want this person to, I don't know, think I'm harassing them or, you know, just too much communication. I wanted to know if you have any insight to that topic. Thank you.
Is he the only one that runs the program that will allow you?
I'll say he was, I won't name the city, but he was the town manager for a municipality in the county, and he was directing me to talk to him, and never followed up or anything. So
I would say that maybe that was not for you. God has always, planned for you. Maybe it's a good thing you didn't get there. There's going to be something out there that is definitely, you're going to be a great fit for that place. And while I was in the program, before I applied for my internship at DOT, I applied for some PD. And I was like, yes, and I was ready. I would envision myself working there. I was just like, I'm going to wear this uniform. I'm going to go for this academy. And they didn't take me. I was crushed for 2 weeks. I didn't know what to do, and I was like, oh, okay, fine. I will apply for everything that comes my way. And now I'm so happy where I'm at. I'm like, thank God that I didn't start working there because this was for me. So.
Yeah, and how long has it been since? A month. Okay. Yeah. I'd probably move on, but no. Sometimes it is funny because I would go door to door or call somebody, and there's a real fine line between being a pain and being persistent because, when you're begging for votes and stuff like that, there is a fine line, but sometimes I'd get an email back or a call back like 5 weeks later, especially for city or county managers, and they're just that busy. And they're like, hey, sorry, I'm just catching up. But, I think since they have it in their email, I'd probably just move on from it.
You know, I don't know if you mentioned it, if you indicated when the last time you actually tried to reach out to them, but if it's been a while, just say, hey, just putting a feeler out there. I'm not sure where you're at with it, but I'm still interested. Show them, that it's not necessarily being that badgering person who's persistent, but just throw the feeler out there and see what happens.
But we have 23 other municipalities.
And Hillsborough and Pasco.
Okay, hi, my name's Julie Chorga-Gilson. I just began the public policy program. I'm aware that there's a capstone. My question is how, when should I start planning that? Like, what's a good amount of time?
Now.
Yesterday?
Yesterday, okay.
Just think about what you love and what do you want to change or implement or even explore. It will make it so much easier when you say, what is it? Like one guy in our group, he chose red light camera tickets. And it was like, what can I do differently about those tickets? Or just something that you're interested in learning more about. Because when you do that, and like we said, we all said now, because now you're getting the process thinking of, well, how can I improve this plan, or how can I make this better, or how can I just research it to make it easier for somebody else, the process? So if you think about,
concerned about the red light tickets as well,
Yeah.
very much.
right, and Hillsborough County just renewed them for 5 more years, just in case. But it's just think about something you love, or you're interested in learning more about.
I think 2 semesters in the program, you would find the right thing. Not now, but going to your classes, because the capstone is the last thing. But within 2 semesters, it would come to you. You would say, oh, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to solve. So,
And consider too, as you're doing whatever your normal thing is every day, whether you work, you don't, if you are working now, whatever job you're in, there's always things, there's always challenges wherever you're at, that you could take this program and apply the 4-step policy analysis and help them come up with solutions to something, just like she was saying. So there's always opportunity to identify the different things in your life to take the initiative and move forward with a possible issue that you can improve. So just keep that radar on, essentially, with whatever you're at the moment.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, I'm Adrian West. Nice to see y'all. Octavia, I must say thank you, because I hate online classes. I suck at online classes. And I had one with her, and we had to do something. And she encouraged, yes, and she, yeah, hey, I have not looked back, okay? I just say thank you very much. But this is my thing. I deal with the public a lot, and I'm going to just say Christy Power is one of my favorite professors, so you can see how I run my mouth, right? But my thing is, like, I've kind of turned Professor K some more gray hair because of some of my thoughts. But, you know, we deal with people. I deal with a lot of people during the day. But, you know, those people that just are just, oh, my God, here they come. How can you, do you think it's possible to win something? Like you say, you're on the phone a lot. How do we win these people over? Or then, because like I said, Dr. Power is one of my favorite professors, so, you know, I took in a lot, but it's like you can't do it. You know, in our position, it's like you just can't do it right now. You can't do it right now. But how do you overcome those obstacles?
Oh.
And remaining professional?
The phone is different, because I can make faces. But what you say is their issue, and you know, to keep it professional is not your issue. So you have to say, I'm here to help you with your issue. And you almost have to keep your emotions out of it, because once you allow your emotions to take over, then it becomes, we are fighting a red light camera ticket, or we are fighting a child support issue. So you have to say, okay, I have to remove myself. And it's a mantra I say to myself. I say, Lord, give me the strength to deal with this today, this moment and this right now. And I take a breath and I listen. And a lot of times, individuals just want to be heard. And you listen, I keep my hands like this, and I listen to what they have to say. And then after they're finishing, and even sometimes it doesn't end successfully. They're still upset about the situation. And the best thing, sometimes, you know what, we're gonna wait. I'll call you back in a day or at the end of the day, or you call me back. And I understand you're frustrated, but we are gonna get to the bottom of it. Even with the most trying customers or situations, there is something to make you better. Every situation that I am faced in dealing with the residents of Hillsborough County, I say to myself, this is going to prepare me for my next level. Everything is not going to be gravy. I have to deal with this. I have to face the hard things and say, okay, Lord, where am I at today? And I kid you not, I have scriptures upon scriptures upon scriptures pasted on my window to keep me grounded, because it makes me stay focused to why I'm here and what I am doing I absolutely love. But sometimes I have to remove myself from the situation, because their issue is not my issue. My job is to make sure I can help them understand it better. And it may not be the best solution. It may be you have to turn yourself in you have to turn yourself into the jail in order to get this resolved. So it may not be the best answer that you want to hear, but it's the correct answer. He may have something different to say, but.
Like I'm saying, it's like put you in a place like, oh, you're my leader, and my first thing is, no, I'm not. No, I'm
right.
not. Catching hell lead myself. You know?
Right.
But I'll give you the information, point you in the right direction.
Exactly.
After that, it becomes, oh my gosh.
You can't argue because it's not your issue.
All right, 2 more questions, if I may. Just 2 more questions. Yes, sir. Here you go.
Could you guys talk about your goals and aspirations and where you'd like to be in 5 years?
I'll kick it off, see if I can make this really long. So, as you know, like I said, I mentioned before, a career and academic advisor here at SPC, and coming back to school, I actually planned on being a business owner again. I was in for the entrepreneurship program, and here I am, graduated from the public policy program and continuing to move forward. I've got my application in at Embry-Riddle for their business program, and the goal is to, just get myself further into higher education. Hopefully graduate from a master's program in the next 2 to 3 years, and then move on to some level of higher education administration. So pretty straightforward. That's not very long.
Myself, within 5 years, I would want to go back to Mali, do some work in my community, see what I can address, then maybe start thinking about doing a PhD, because I would like to do further my education to a PhD level. But in 5 years, I would like to see that Capstone Project be implemented in Mali or in my city.
And then in 10 years, the president of Mali, right? So we can all come visit.
We'll see. Yes.
I have no idea. I'll just enjoy my life and meet people like you all and see what, life takes me, what opportunity it has for me.
My current position doesn't, even above my position, doesn't allow me to have any further education, but I did apply to the USF Master's Program. But I would like, the appointment of deputy chiefs have to be appointed by the clerk. So I would like that appointment. So within the next 5 years, I know next year we're in an election year, so we will have a new clerk. So my plans are to work towards that.
Yeah, I definitely want to get my master's degree as well. I'm going to be applying soon for the USF master's program, and then hopefully 2 to 3 years I can get through that. But as far as the political stuff goes, I really want to focus on my 3-year term and do as much good as I can within 3 years, because I think it's kind of dangerous and it's a bad mindset when somebody's trying to, climb the political ladder. So either they won't take a stand on something, or they'll just kind of do whatever they think isn't going to make the most amount of voters upset. I've got my own goals to accomplish for Tarpon Springs. Hopefully I can get the votes to support those. But I'm not really sure what the future holds, but I know it's going to be a good 3 years.
Okay, last question.
Hello, my name is Fred Green. This is my 15th semester at SPC, so I'm taking the slow and steady route. About a year ago, I accepted a leadership position at a local nonprofit. So I had a specific question, and if each of you can weigh in on it with just one quick thought or idea or tip. But one of the toughest things in my world is networking. We're trying to secure money at all times. We're trying to make new partnerships within the community. And so I was just wondering, in your experiences, what's been a tip that you might share to the rest of us for how you network?
Yeah, budgets control everything we do, but they're the least understood. So, no, I think it's important. Thank you, Connor. I think it's important to remember that everybody is after that money. When I first started meeting with all the department heads and stuff like that, one will ask for money and I'll say, great, I'd love to help this guy. The second one does, okay, we can make this work. And then you realize there's 14 of them and it's like, oh my gosh, we have to prioritize who gets this. I think it's the same thing with nonprofits and applying for grants. You got to remember that is all about persuasion. That is saying, I need this money more than anybody else. My cause is worth this. So I think it really comes, as far as the networking aspect, from being really sincere, and you seem like you definitely believe in your cause, so that's a great start, because a lot of those grants, people either won't finish the application process, or it'll be a third party or a consultant that's doing it. There's not a lot of heart in it. But just remembering that everybody's out to get that money, and you have to be the most important one.
You have to let them see you. I think outside of all of the writing that you put in to apply for it, let them see who you are and what you represent and how much it means to you. Let them see your heart and your goals and ambition and what you're trying to accomplish, and then they can put a face not only to the paper that you submit?
I think would be important just to find those that have succeeded, that has done well, and people you can learn from. And it would also have a mentor, if you can have a mentor to work with, and that can help you, direct you, give you more, and learn from him. That might help too. So.
Okay, that's our last question. If we can give a round of applause to our moderator and our panel. Susan, thank you. You are just wonderful. I mean, no wonder you should have been in general line, in my opinion. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you could have a seat, panelists, stay where you're at. One quick question that I think our students want to ask our HR directors. What is it, in one sentence or two at the most, what is it I can do to come see you and secure employment?
Okay. So for Clearwater, if you're looking for an actual position, we do require everybody has to go through the NeoGov, our website, and apply online. But there certainly is nothing wrong with following up, especially with the department for the position that you're looking for. Feel free to reach out to them and follow up to them. Fortunately, right now, there are so many positions available. Clearwater has a ton. Please go to our website, myclearwater.com, if there's anything that you're interested in. So it's a good time to be looking for a job. But and internships, it's the same thing. But for that one, I would absolutely recommend that you reach out to the department that you're interested in doing an internship with. So that's Clearwater's process.
So for Safety Harbor, we also have an online application process, so I encourage you to go on there. Our jobs are a little less than Clearwater, we're not as large. However, I do encourage you to follow up most definitely. With myself, we pass it on to the respective department head as well. Me personally, I think that's great. When folks come in from either our top jobs or all the way down to our collectors on the back of a garbage truck, that shows interest. That shows that you're in it for the long haul. So something definitely that you want to do as far as Safety Harbor would go. Internships, if you are in need of one, feel free to call me. Go onto our website, cityofsafetyharbor.com, and you'll find me under Human Resources. Either email me or phone me, and I'd be glad to chat with you.
So I'm fighting a terrible cold and my voice is gone. I would echo what these ladies said. For the online application process, pay attention to the details. Make sure if it's asking for information that you're providing that information and you're verifying that you have answered any questions correctly, because when you hit submit, you're verifying that that information is accurate. It's really hard to change that once that's done. So that's one of the more common barriers that we see for applicants. Internships, Pinellas County is going to continue to grow internships. So reach out to us if there's anything you're interested in. We're very well connected with St. Pete College and Professor K. So work through him if you're having trouble getting with us directly.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Hendrickson, and I represent the city of Pinellas Park. And as my colleagues mentioned, we also have a website. We have some jobs posted at the moment, www.pinellas-park.com. For internships, we do not have a structured program, but I want to share an experience that just occurred this past week. I received a personal email that was connected through our city website from a St. Pete College student. They happened to be in the webmaster and graphics program, I believe. They reached out to tell me that they were graduating this upcoming semester and needed some internship hours in order to complete their program. So I reached out to our communications and marketing department and I said, hey, Lana, don't you have this ADA program that you're working on with our website? And do you think that an intern could help you with the program you're working on? She goes, that's a great idea. I'd love to have an intern. So I went to the city manager, explained the situation, and we actually got approval to hire an intern to work on our website ADA program for the summer. So the main point is reach out to those city websites, link to your HR directors, and ask for what you want, because you won't know what's there unless you ask. Thank you.
All right, now if I could ask for Dr. Demers to come up. We're going to say some closing remarks. I got to say, before she grabs this microphone, thank you to Dr. Daly and Dr. Akins for all that you do for us and USF. So they're here. If you want to see them before you leave for a master's program, they're right here. And I'm going to turn it over to my boss, and I want to thank Dr. Cooper and Dr. Demers, Dr. Furlong, for hiring me way back when. So thank you.
Yeah. I want to thank all of you for taking the time to come today. I particularly want to thank our panel for coming back, and that should be an indicator to all of you that you remain ours in perpetuity, right? All right. You saw that there is a theme today, and the theme really says that if you're interested in public service, your main job is learning how to connect with people. It's all about learning how to connect and then maintaining those connections. And you should not think, because we have not spoken for 6 years, that I don't know who you are. That Professor K would not remember who you are. That Dean Smiley does not remember who you are. People who engage in public service do it because they like to be of service. They would love to help you pay it forward as you build your career. So please reach out. If I could just ask that all of our current public policy students stand. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much. We're so proud of you. I will meet you walking across the stage at graduation. Unless you have an issue, I'm on the second floor of the ES building in Clearwater, all right? Other than that, I just want to say to all of our guests, thank you so much for coming, spending the time with us today, and for your long time investment in our students. Thank you so much. Every single one of these people not only has the professional connections, all of these people have community connections that they are passionate about. So don't just think to reach out to someone because they're in a particular professional position. Reach out to them because you admire the way they speak about things, or you think they might be able to give you some insight, and you will find that they know people who know people. My partner in crime over here, Dean Smiley, has personally mentored about 7,000 people. That means that all of those people over the last almost 40 years who've gone through SPC really feel connected to him. So his insights on certain kinds of things might be the most valuable thing that you could seek to find out, right? And you don't have to carve an hour out of people's life. It could be a single email that makes the difference. So it's all about connections, but it doesn't have to be people that you have formal connections with. If it's something that Dr. Womer, who's about to leave St. Pete College in 10 days, but who's counting? If it's something that she believes in, she'll believe in it on day 12, day 15. Just reach out. This is people's passion just as it is your passion, all right? So since that's true, give them the opportunity to do something good. All right, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jeff to finish it up. Thank you all so much. We're so very proud of our students.
All right, before we go, we'd be remiss if we didn't again say thank you to a number of people. I hope this was an event, a celebration that you appreciate, because it takes a lot of work to do this, but it's worth every bit of that work. Thank you to Dr. Smiley, who opened us up with his prayer. I never get tired of listening to Dr. Smiley and his prayer. In fact, if he didn't show up, I think I don't know what I'd do, but it's not the same without him. So thank you, Dr. Smiley. Dr. Strickland, I mean, you can't find a better provost. I mean, he always makes you feel welcome. His staff, Carol Brandt, came by and truly saved me, since I was kind of floundering like a fish out of the water without Elizabeth here. And Carol came by and says, "What do you need?" And then she saved me at the very end. And of course, the rest of the staff that helped out, our videographer, our people in the back, and Marguerite, your food has been outstanding. Thank you again. Thank you.